guys, it's me, Morgan.
Howdy, it's me, Zane.
And we're here in the Teen Maker Space. And for February's craft bag month, we're going to be making some cool heart keychains.
Oh, who would have guessed hearts for Valentine's?
What? That's so crazy. What a new and innovative idea. So we're going to show you how to make these, so let's go ahead and get started. So in this part of the craft bag, we're going to get out our assorted paints. You guys should have a little row of paint pots, paintbrush, little piece of sandpaper, your little heart clear keychain with one of the silver pieces and then a small piece. And then you guys should have like an assorted little baggie full of different types of glitter and gems and little things to add. So right now, I'm just gonna take my little heart keychain, and it's not super clear right now because it has a film over top of it. So I'm just gonna pick at the side of this here until pretty much we see that there is something you can like peel up. All right, and then once I have this peeled up, take your sandpaper, and then I'm just gonna tear a little piece off. And then we need to rough it up because the paint is not going to stick to it unless we just make it a little more porous. It'll kind of just peel off if the plastic is like smooth still. So on both sides, and if you guys want to do the edges here, when we have that done, we don't need our sandpaper any longer. And then go ahead and pick the color that you want to paint your heart. I think that for mine, I'm going to do black, but just for the sake of being able to see the different colors, I'm going to use purple to just show you how I paint this. I would definitely grab just a like paper towel or something to place down so it doesn't get everywhere, but you can go ahead and like paint your heart whatever color you desire. And then we're just gonna let this dry for now, but I went ahead and I already have one of my hearts over here finished. So I went ahead and painted one side of this black so it looks matte on this side, and then the other side is a little more shiny. But what I'm gonna do now is take my Mod Podge here. So you guys should definitely have some water next to you so you can rinse your brush off, especially if you use a dark color. And then if you want to put the Mod Podge on top of it, it's just going to be the clear one inside of your paint pots. Like, it'll kind of look like white, but it's not going to be white. Just test both to make sure. But one is definitely a little clearer. You can kind of tell when looking at them in the paint pots. But go ahead and just brush the Mod Podge onto the heart. This is going to help seal it. And you can do more than one coat of this if you'd like. But this is also going to act as our glue. Alright. So while this is drying here, I'm going to go ahead and get out my different gems that I want to use for the front of my heart. So once you have the one side dry, you can kind of tell because it'll just look like the color that you had painted it before. But I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and just take my Mod Podge and then start gluing some fun stuff on top of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and wait for this to dry, and then afterwards I'm going to just paint like a little bit of Mod Podge on top of a few of these things to make sure that they stay in place and they don't fall off. And then I'm going to put the keychain ring on. But I'm going to let this dry and then I'll be back in a sec. So now that I have this all dry, which looks very, very pretty, I think, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pliers. So You guys can use just like wire cutters or pliers to do this, and if you don't have any, just come into the makerspace when we're open and we can do this like very, very quick for you. So you just take the two and then you put it on both sides of the opening, and then you kind of like twist it a little more open so you can slide the little key part in here, and then just keep a hold of it with one side, and then you want to put like another, like the little loop on the end here also around that big ring, and then you're going to take the other plier and then close it so it's flush with the other side, and then there you go. You have a very cute little keychain. Mine is a little goth, but I like it because it's black and red and white. It's super cute. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this craft. It's super simple. And all right, let's move on to the next one. Okay guys, so in this part of the craft bag, you're going to go ahead and get your pony beads out. You should have a thicker piece of elastic string. It's not super stretchy. You might have another piece of string in there that's clear. Just disregard that. It's just too elasticy for the project we're going to be doing. You should have a little silver key ring. You're also going to probably want to grab your template, maybe some tape and some scissors if you have any. But for the first part, I went ahead and I already took out the pony beads that I want and lined them up with my template here, so it would be easier to grab them later. So I just pretty much like sat them on top of here and lined them up. And then I want to grab my tape, and then we're going to tape this key ring down here. Actually first, let's put the string on it. So grab your string and get it even at the very ends here. And then we're going to just put it through this hole, through the silver key ring loop. And then at the very end, we're kind of just going to open this up and take the two end pieces and just drag them through the big hole, and then that's going to make our knot here at the very end. And we're just going to pull that really, really tight. Okay, like that. Okay, and now I'm going to tape this in place here so it doesn't move around when we are trying to put the beads on here in a second. And this extra chain, you can use pliers or wire cutters to cut off. Okay, so after I got that taped in place, I'm going to start with just my first bead here. And it can be whatever color scheme that you want, just the first one is going to be kind of by itself. So we're going to put it through one side of the thread, and then take the other side of the thread and also put it through the bead. And then we're just going to kind of pull it tight all the way to the top here. Kind of like a shoelace a little bit. Okay, that's the first stage. Second part is we're going to take 2 pink and then 3 white, or 2 of one color and then 3 of another color, and then put it on one side of the thread. So I'm going to start on the right side here. Okay, and then with the same side of the thread, we're going to loop it back around and go through this side of the 2 pink and then the first white one. And then we're not going to thread the other 2 white ones here. We're going to kind of let those be floaters. All right, and then we're going to make sure it's close, like I'm going to pull it close to this over here. Make sure it's tight up against the white one, the first bead that we put down. Okay, and then as you can see, the 2 white pieces that did not get the loop back through sit on top of there. Okay, then we're going to do the same with the other side. I already have 2 pink here and then 3 white, and with instead of the right side, we're going to take the left side and thread 2 pink and then 3 white. or 2 of one color and 3 of another color. All right. Okay. And then with the same thread, we're going to go back through the pink and through the first white bead. Right. And then slowly, very slowly, pull this through. Same with the other side. We're going to want to make sure that this is pretty close to the white one we started with, and then just pull that tight. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're going to start doing lines, like just all the way across. Instead of doing it like one side, it'll just be all the way through. So I already have my first line started here. So I'm just going to start on the left side. So I'm going to do 1 white, then 2 light pink, and then 1 dark pink, and then a light pink, dark, light, light, and then white. And once we have that threaded on here, we're going to take the other piece of the thread, so the right side now, and thread it through all of them. So every single bead that you just did, thread it through the other side. And then same thing like we did with that first one, we're going to pull it tight all the way. Just try to make it as even as possible. Okay. Move this a little bit. Okay. Same with the next one. I'll do the right side. And then, so white, light pink, dark, 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 and then a light, and then a white one. And same thing, thread it, take the other side of the thread, and then thread all of the ones that you just did. Like new shoes, just like pull it all the way pretty tight. You don't want to make it so tight where it's like bunching, but make it tight enough where it's like laying correctly. You just might have to wiggle it around later. Okay, let's do the next line. I'll do the left side this time, so we'll do a white, then a light, then 3 dark pinks in a row, and then 1 light pink, and then a white. Same thing, take the other side and thread it through. Okay. Pull it. And then you'll start to see that it's getting smaller on the side. So just make sure that they're all even, like, so one part's not all the way like off to one side, like, you see what I'm saying? Okay. So then we're going to take a white, and then a light, and then a dark, and then a light, and then a white. Thread it through. Tight, and then if you get like little loose, just kind of like pull it tight, kind of like you have to readjust like shoelaces when they get a little loose in a certain spot. This is why it helps taping it in place too. Okay. Alright, and then almost done. We got a white one, a light one, and then a white one. And same thing, thread that through. And almost done here. The very last one, we have just a white one left. Same thing that we did with this first one. Just gonna thread it through. And then we're gonna double knot it at the very bottom. Once we get everything kind of adjusted, like kind of how we want it, because like some of this is a little loose, so I'm gonna go back and like just retighten it, pretty much like what I would do with the shoelaces. I'll do that one a little bit, but it's okay. I'd rather it be right before I tie it in place. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna double knot this and tie it pretty tight. Not too tight to where it's getting bunched. Just kind of gotta mess with it for a minute. But also double knot it so it also doesn't come undone. And then you can let it hang, or you can just let it, kind of dangle and undo the tape, and then, just adjust it a little bit because you got some extra wiggle room up there, but that's pretty much it. After you wiggle it around, you got a cute little heart keychain. I hope you guys enjoyed this craft, but there are tons of other perler bead heart patterns if you guys want to check them out online. You don't have to do this one. If you guys don't like how it turned out, you can always just untie it and then restart over. I had to do that with my last one that I made. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. It's super easy, and we will see you next month.